Today we're gonna be looking at the new features of the latest GoodCrypto app release. The release is 1.8.7. Here is the features list. You've probably seen it in what's new if you installed the app already. So you see that the biggest feature, the biggest update is the Grid Algo 2.0 functionality with a lot of interesting features inside. But I'll save it until the end of this release. We'll start with those 5 features right now and then go back to Grid Algo 2.0. And also there will be separate videos for each of these features of the Grid Algo with in-depth review. And in this review, I'll try to be brief. So let's go to this feature first. So the feature is attach take profit stop loss to closed orders. So remember beforehand, I'll go to trade now. Beforehand, with GoodCrypto, you could attach stop loss and take profit while sending an order. So I'll send the market buy here for LSUSD on FTX, and I'll attach a stop loss and take profit, right? So once take profit or stop loss fails, the other one cancels. So that's basically our functionality that's been around for quite a while. But until recently, if you forgot to do that or didn't think of it or didn't need it, and you just sent an order without any take profit stop loss, for example, let me send this market order right here. Oh, I forgot the order size here. Okay, so I'll send this order here, and let's go to actually see it in the orders list. I'll go to orders, go to history. Here is this order that just appears in history. As you can see, it doesn't have any take profits or stop losses. And before this release, you couldn't do anything about it. But right now, you can actually go to this order. You see here a button which is called attach take profit to stop loss. And all you need to do basically is to attach the profit to stop loss. Let's say stop loss is 10% and take profit is 3, maybe 1. Okay, let's do something like that. Okay, I'll apply changes here. And just like that, you can see that my stop loss and take profit appeared here. And they also appeared, of course, on the graph. So they're both cells. That's why they're right in the graph. So that's been the attach take profit and stop loss to closed order feature. The second feature is the technical analysis rating for every pair and every exchange. As you remember, in previous release, we've released technical ratings for all the coins in prices tab, right? You remember this here, right? And now that we've extended this functionality to actually cover every trading pair and every exchange. So let's go to trade now. Let's scroll down. And you can see a new tab here, which is called signals. It's pretty much very much alike to the ones you have in coins details already. However, here you can choose any time frame you want or any candle resolution you want, rather, right? And as this is based on real market data, not on aggregated spark lines like the prices tab, you have much more indicators here. So actually have 15 moving averages and 10 oscillators. So 25 technical indicators in total that combine to give you this rating right here. And basically you can change the candle resolution, and just like that it appears here. I hope you like it. So that works on any exchange with any trading pair. It's a very powerful tool. Of course, it's not financial or investment advice, but it's a very good basis for further research. And before you type, or I think you wanted, you want to ask a question. Will there be next step with this signal step? Yep, there will be, of course. We'll be developing this functionality further. Will allow both to place alerts on those indicators at some point in the future, and there will be also automated trading on those signals. So basically, you'll be able to open or close a position, or start or stop, and trade an algorithm based on those signals in the future. Okay, for now, enjoy this. I think it comes in very handy in a lot of trading scenarios. Okay, let's go to the next feature, which is second custom button in the main menu. So that's the main menu here at the bottom of my screen. And you know, probably, the ones that you have used their app for some time, you know that there are 4 fixed buttons: prices, portfolio, trade or exchanges, and settings. And there is a 5th button. I hope that most of you already know that the 5th button could be changed from Pro that's there by default to a lot of other interesting functions. But if not, welcome. It's your life will change forever once you find out that that actually exists. But even more so, we've added another 6th button here. So now we have 2 customizable buttons. And let's see what we've got here. So let's go to settings. We're now in settings, and you can see in settings there is this place which is called menu shortcut. I really hope that you're already familiar with that. If not, again, it will change your life. So look here, you have 2 buttons, right? So this menu here customizes this button, and this menu here customizes this button. So you can choose between orders, positions, algos. So you can see the orders list, the positions list, or algos list with one click. You can go to alerts if you use them a lot. And now there is an inbox, right? So that's inbox, that's where you have all your push messages that you've received from us handy. And that's our developers use that, so they added it. Maybe some of you will use it as well, so we can manually change the theme here. So what I've done, I have here algos and inbox, but let me see, maybe I'll choose positions. Okay, now inbox I want to keep here, but I'll switch from algos to positions. No, actually, I'll keep algos here and add positions instead of inbox here. So second button, here we go. Positions button is now here. So that was second custom button. So again, you have 2 custom buttons that you can actually choose what you want to put here in those 2 buttons. Okay. Another one, we'll go to prices. There are 2 new coin filters here. Once again, I hope you know that there are filters here, so you can not only rank this list, but also apply filters to them. And previously we only had those 3, so we had the top 100 only. We had my portfolio and my exchanges. And again, guys, if you haven't seen that, that also can change your life. So let me give you a quick overview of those filters that were here previously. So my portfolio basically will leave out of those 8,000 coins or 7,000 coins. Out of them, my portfolio will leave only the coins that I have in my portfolio, meaning on my connected exchange accounts or wallets. So if I see here 7,000 actually coins, that's the whole universe. My portfolio only have not actually a small amount, but only 1,000 of them. And once I've done this filter, then I can sort by gain, loss, or buy and sell signals inside those coins that I actually have in my portfolio. Or alternatively, there is a filter it's called my exchanges. They're not mutually exclusive, so I have to turn off my portfolio. My exchanges means that here will be shown only the coins that are traded on one of the exchanges that I have connected to GoodCrypto with the API key. So you see that out of universe of 7,000 coins, 2,300 are traded on the exchanges that I've connected. Okay, and then there was this filter, which meant only first 100 coins, and that been quite enough till recently. But now, given that in their first 100 there are a lot of stable coins, a lot of wrapped assets, so the utility of the top 100 is actually less than it was. So that's why we're introducing 2 new ones. top 300 and top 1000, right? So you go with top 300, and you can see here there are only 300, and you can actually now rank them. I can see, rank them by, let's see, rank by gain in the last week. Those 300, yep, interesting. Okay, okay, interesting. So that's kind of what I have here, right? So if I choose top 1000, the list will be completely different, not completely, but quite different. And so once again, once you've chosen this filter, the sorting applies to the filtered one. So you can actually come up with quite a number of combinations. For example, top 1000 and my portfolio. You can see that I have actually 1000 coins in my portfolio, but only 600 of them are in top 1000. That means I have a lot of, I don't want to call them, let's call them S coins, right? So quite a number of those. Okay, that was the two new filters here. Hope you'll find that useful. And by the way, for those of you that saw that there was a small bug here previously in the previous releases, if you sorted the list by gain or loss, and their sourcing changed, that basically if you went here and the sourcing changed, it would jump up. The list won't stay, in place. That bug was fixed in this release. So if any of you suffered from it, now it's gone. Okay, now we've gone over most of the smaller features in this release, and let's move to Grid Algo 2.0. Okay, let's go to trade, and let's start with first feature of the Grid Algo 2.0, which is long and short mode of the grid. So let's go to Alga, let's grid here. So now at the very beginning you have three modes of the Grid Algo to choose from. So previously our Grid 1.0 only supported neutral mode. Neutral, that means your plain vanilla grid where I'm playing it places sell orders above market price and buy orders below market price, and basically, that's how grid works. I hope you are familiar with that. However, there are a lot of situations where you would need something different. So we're introducing now long and short mode. So what basically long mode does, it initially places buy orders on all the grid levels. What that effectively means is that once you launch it, buy orders above market price are actually executed right away. They're filled right away because basically you can buy lower than you wanted to. So it essentially gives you an ability to start with a grid with long position and have a neutral grid level up here, not here. That means that if the price will go up and go out of the grid level on the top, right? So go through, your grid position will be zero and your risk will be zero. That's why it's called long mode, right? So you both start with long position basically by placing buy orders here. Those two orders would immediately execute, giving you a long position. And if the price shoots up and goes out of the grid on the top, your position will be zero, right? And you won't have any risk. So basically, what it's used for, if you think that the market is trending up, like it's been trending for a couple of weeks now, and you think that there is a lot of risk if you go neutral, that there is a lot of risk that the grid will go, that the price will go up higher than the grid range, and will start losing money. You go with long mode. This way, if the price leaves the range on top of the grid, your position is neutral. You don't have any risk, right? Okay, so that's long mode. And by the same token, short mode is pretty much the same idea, just kind of from the other side. So what it does, it places initially sell all orders on all grid levels. And of course, the sell orders below market price will immediately fill, basically giving you a short starting position. So whereas neutral grid starts with zero position, and the position increases if the price goes up or down. Long grid starts with long position, and the position increases if the price goes down, and decreases when the price goes up and goes neutral here. Then the short grid, basically, you start with short position, and the position increases. So if the price moves up, but if it moves lower, your position decreases, and if the price leaves the grid range below the grid, then your position is zero, it's neutral, you don't have any risk. So short mode, from the name of it, is used when you believe that the price is likely to go down, and this way you basically put a short grid here, and if the price indeed does go down, you won't be holding the bag, you will have neutral position and zero risk, right? And of course, there is no free cheese. Short grid mode decreases your risk if you are right and the price goes, down. But if it goes up, actually, you'll have twice the risk because you've already had a short position here and it will just increase. And the same with long. If the price goes up, you'll have zero position, zero risk. But if the price goes down and you've chosen the short long mode, then you have double the risk of a neutral grid. But anyways, if you are not familiar with that, you probably want to read about it more and watch their separate videos on that. But if you're familiar with long to short mode, that will come in handy when the market is trending. Okay. Also, as we've implemented this long to short not only on derivatives but also on spot, if you go to spot instrument, we have the same here. So it pretty much works in the same way on spot, with a single difference is that not difference, but previously, if you're, the logic is pretty much the same, and the risk and your market price projections are pretty much the same as on derivatives, but the only difference is that for neutral grid, right, the grid 1.0 that we've previously had, to run it on spot, you needed to have both, for example, on BTC USD, you needed to have both BTC and USD on your account, basically, right? So to place sell orders here, you needed to have BTC to sell, and to place buy orders here, you needed to have USD to buy. With long only, you can run the grid on spot without having base currency in your account, without having BTC, so you only need USD now. So you can actually start grid without having coins in your account, just with the quoted currency, and the same token if you have chosen the short mode on a spot instrument. You don't need to have actually quoted currency, you only have to have BTC to sell, right? Okay. Again, that's something that requires a much deeper discussion. There will be a separate video in the grid playlist for this, but let's move on. Okay, having covered long, neutral, and short mode, let's move to second feature, which is called logarithmic level or log levels distribution. So this tiny checkbox here, what it does basically, it changes the way the grid levels are spread out inside the grid range. So by default, the grid levels within the given range are spread out at the equal distance in price units, right, in dollars. So let's say if you can see that the distance between each level is pretty much the same if looked here, like on this price scale, which is in dollars, right? So the levels are here on every $250 or so. So every 250, right? Yeah, so every $250, we have a grid level. And that works fine and well if you're running a kind of grid in a tight range. That's okay. But look, what happens if, for example, we zoom out at the 1-day candles and go with their kind of nice and large grid range from, from, I don't know, from say $15,000 to, let's say, $40,000, right? BTC. That's a reasonable range. I mean, BTC being up and down in this range, that's something that you want to cover, right? So we can maybe look at the week. Look, if you look at the weekly candles, it doesn't even cover, the screen. So it's a reasonable range, right? To cover all the weekly candles range, maybe you will even go something like this. So the thing is, here is a normal linear distribution. So to say, between those levels, there is an equal distance in dollars. However, you understand that in percentage terms, for BTC to go up from 18,000 to 30,000, it's a much longer distance actually than from 30,000 to 43,000. Right? So in percentage terms, here BTC almost doubled from 18 to 30. Not double, but almost double. But to move from 30 to 43, it's actually went up only barely over 30%. And what that means, first, you have a very uneven P&L per level. So you can see here that, you probably noticed that. So if you buy here and sell here, you will make actually 40%, right? You will make 30%, 40%. If you buy here and say here, sell here, you will make not only, but 18%. So it's very uneven. So P&L is distributed unevenly. That also means that actually the trading frequency will be distributed unevenly. So the probability that the price will move from here to here, it's much lower than it will move from here to here because the distance percentage terms is much larger, right? And of course, that also means that if you put here a lot more levels, that, for example, when the price is in this region, it moves kind of slower relatively between the levels, and it accumulates risk if the price goes against you and you go through all the levels. Then your position increases slower, but as you go higher, position starts increasing faster and faster and faster. So there is uneven distribution of P&L between levels, uneven distribution of trading frequency, and an uneven distribution of risk. With log distribution, it's completely different. So once I checked here, look, I'm unchecked, checked. So log distribution, as you can see, it distributes the levels not linearly, but with an equal distance of price percentage change. So the percentage change of the price between this level and this level is the same as between this level and this level. So once you get this, look what happens. Now P&L per level is pretty much uniform across those. So the price only needs to move, whatever those, basically that's what pretty much without, if you don't account for the fee. So the price needs to move 4% here between levels to for you to execute a trade, and here same without log distribution. As you can see here, the price needed to move here 8% between levels to actually to get a trade, but here it fell just to 2% of price difference. So once again, a log distribution is very, very useful if you're running a very wide grid. For example, you're running not on BTC USD, but maybe BTC ETH, or I don't know, on BNB ETH or other altcoins versus altcoins. So those are the grid that can stay within the range, for long. And log distribution will give you an equal distribution of P&L per level, of relative trading frequency, and risk. Again, if you're running a tight grid there is not a lot of difference here. At least the tighter the grid is, the less difference there is here. So here between log distribution and linear distribution, difference is very small. And if you make the range even smaller, it basically becomes pretty much negligible. But again, there are a lot of times when logarithmic distribution comes in very handy. Okay, let's move to this next feature, which is called activation price. So if you go here to advanced settings, you can now set an activation price for a grid. What that actually means is that if I say put a grid here, now if I just launch it, it will activate immediately, or at least it will place those orders on the exchange immediately. But I can specify activation price, for example, I don't know, 17,000. And oh no, sorry, it's the wrong instrument. Five is the activation price. Okay, now I can see activation price. So now the grid will only activate if the activation price is reached. So the logic for that may be numerous. For example, I don't know, you are setting a long grid here, and you want to make sure that actually it activates. So you set a long grid, so you want the price, or you expect the price to go up, and so we want to catch it when there is an uptrend. So you say you put an activation price somewhere here. So now the grid will activate only if the price hits here. Or you rather have identified some support range here. So if you know that basically if you believe that if Alice basically falls down to this level, it will stay in this range. So if you put an activation price and you want it to have a neutral grid there, so for it to be neutral, you actually need to have an activation price here. So once the price falls to the activation level, it will stay in the middle of the grid. Grid will be neutral with the orders above and below the market price at that moment. So activation price gives you a lot of opportunities. Think about it, especially in conjunction with long and short modes, and actually neutral. I've just showed you that even with the neutral mode activation price, that's something that's might be very, very useful sometime. And you can actually both set it here, and then you can actually later modify it, but I'll get to it later. So after the activation price, one of the features that I love the most is, again, in advanced settings, right? Yeah, it's in advanced settings. There is optional take profit. So now you can have a complete peace of mind. For example, I see that the grid is running, you are going to sleep, you're afraid to let it run, and you don't want it to hit the stops, it's in range, it's going fine, it's made you some money, but maybe you want to make some more. So actually, one of the ways to start grid when you want it is to specify a profit. So this grid, once their P&L reaches 10 USD, it will stop. Basically, making sure that you're looking at that profit, right? So that's one way to both limit their your risk, limit their running time of the grid. How many times it was the case that the grid was up a lot, and then some news came out and got out of range, and you lost all that you've previously kind of earned but didn't lock in. So take profit will help you with that. Take profit will stop the grid once your profit target is reached. It comes in very handy, and especially given that, again, same way as with activation price, it can actually be later added or modified. So your grid is already running, it's already up, say, I don't know, $9. You want to go to sleep, but you just, kind of, you're sure that it will make some more. It just doesn't want, you don't want to stop it right now, but also you're afraid that in 12 hours after you wake up and, go to a desktop, it will be out of the range. So, the P&L at that time is 9, you just set take profit to 10 and you go to sleep. It will make another box and then basically stop itself. Okay, that's take profit. Try it, use it. It's a great risk management tool. It will make your grid trading a lot more profitable. It's rule-based. It's rather than letting it run. Definitely, it's a very good way to work with the grid using take profit. Okay, then there is another feature, which might be even more interesting than take profit, or at least at the same level of interest. So it's called stop in neutral position. There's small checkbox here. What does it mean basically? If this checkbox, okay, let's say there was no take profit. So if this checkbox is checked, and I have this grid here, so let's say it's a vanilla neutral grid without activation and so forth. So it will stop when it's in neutral position. So it will start trading. Let's say the price will go up. It will use you disorder. The position will become negative. It will be minus something, and it will stop next time the price goes back to the neutral line. Basically, giving you a neutral position of 0, the grid will stop. It doesn't make that much sense for neutral grids at the beginning, but for example, if you are running a long grid, it's a bit different. Look, stop in neutral position will give you, remember, for a long grid, the neutral position will be here. So basically, you are betting that the price will go up. So if you check this box here, stop in neutral position, grid will start trading, and if the price will go up and leave the range here, your position will become neutral, the grid will stop. Basically, acting as a kind of take profit, because you never know, here you've earned some, and you don't have any additional risk, you don't have, any unrealized P&L, you'll stop the grid, just making sure that you're looking at the profit. So that's what it does, for example, with long grid. But it might be even more interesting with take profit in conjunction with take profit. So if you set a take profit of $10 and check this checkbox, that would mean that the grid will first wait for the take profit for their P&L to reach 10 USD, and then after that it will continue, not stop, it will continue trading until it reaches neutral position, and then it will stop. So you basically, with take profit, you put a floor on how much you will lock in, but if it will run some more until it goes into neutral position, you'll earn some more, but you'll have this additional stop on top of your take profit. So there could be different interesting combinations with that. Just think about it. Take profit and stop in neutral position one by one, or taken together, they're very powerful tool in the arsenal of every grid trader. Even more so, same as take profit, stop in neutral position can be added while the grid is already running, and that where there might be the best, or the most, where it might be the most useful. So basically, imagine your grid ran already for, I don't know, for some time, and already made quite quite a nice P&L, but it's still running, and you don't want to stop it now, especially if it's somewhere out, somewhere far from your neutral line, and you don't want to lock in, you have unrealized P&L negative P&L because you have a position and you're out of the your grid is not balanced, it's not in the neutral position, and you don't want to lock in the P&L. So you just on the running grid, you check this checkbox in grid details, and the next time the price moves in neutral position, the grid will stop. That's again a kind of risk management slash take profit tool that could be very effective on the running grid. That will depend on your situation. Just think about it. When you'll be running the grid, just think whether you would want to add a take profit or stop in neutral. That could be a very, very powerful tool. Okay, there is some more features here in the Grid 2.0. So you can now trigger activation and stops not only on the last price, but by last price, but also by mark price and index price if you're trading derivatives. What it gives you basically the ability to trigger your stops or activate your grid by the price that is more reflective of their real kind of market situation. Whereas, especially if you're trading some liquid pair on some exchange, someone can, there could be a temporary so-called artificial spike on that exchange. For example, someone just put a huge order on that exchange, but the global price didn't move, and you don't want your grid to be taken out or activated by those kind of exchange specific moves that don't reflect the global kind of market situation. That's where mark price or index price for stops and activation would come in handy. So again, if you don't use it in your regular trading, you probably won't need it for grids. But if you do use it in regular trading, then you'll find it useful for grids as well. Okay, and the last but not least, as I said, you can now actually modify the parameters like activation price, stops, and take profits and stop neutral position on the running grid. So beforehand, you couldn't do anything on the running grid. Now, let's go to orders algos. Let's find the running grid. They're all out of range, but they're still running. So nevertheless, so let's go here. It's running. So you can see now there is a modify button. So first, and without hitting the modify, I can put here stop in neutral position. If I check it here, so next time now my position is actually positive, so neutral line is where neutral is somewhere here. So when it reaches neutral position, it will stop, right? If I put it here, but also I can hit modify. You see here, I can add a stop. I didn't have stops here. I can add a take profit, which I didn't have beforehand, and also there is the stop neutral position. So those things, even if you didn't think about them beforehand, or you set some stops that you want to modify, make it closer to grid or farther from the grid, you can do it here. If you didn't put a take profit and you let it run and you see that the market situation changes and you want to put kind of a take profit, you can add it here. And again, if it's running, you want to stop it like kind of a mild way, not abruptly, then stop in neutral position would come in handy. Okay, that's pretty much all we have for Grid 2.0. So come to our Telegram group and discuss it and use it. We believe it's now grids in crypto are incredibly powerful, and I hope you'll enjoy it. Let us know how it goes. Thank you and bye bye.